everyone, I am Professor Santosh Nadal. Today we will discuss 5-year plans in India. So before going to start 5-year plans in India, so we will have to define the concept of 5-year plans. In a systematized growth of economy in specified or the short period of time, that is called 5-year plans. Now we will discuss first 5-year plan. The first 5-year plan, because India got independence in 1947, and after getting independence, this concept was taken from Soviet Union, and the first 5-year plan that was started in 1951-56 by the late Prime Minister, first Prime Minister of India, that is Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and specifically in this plan some issues that were addressed, that is mainly the agricultural sector, because agriculture, India was agriculture dominant economy, so more focus was on agriculture. Inclusive investments in dams and irrigation. Total planned budget was rupees 2069 crores. The national domestic product went up by 15%. During this period, many irrigation projects were started, including Bhakra and Hirakund Dam, and target growth rate was 2.1%, but we achieved growth rate 3.6%. So specifically, in addition to that, specifically the first 5 plan was for how the growth in agriculture sector that can be enhanced, and to boost the agriculture sector of the economy, the emphasis was given on to provide the more infrastructural base to agricultural sector, specifically to generate more and more irrigation facilities, because irrigation is a prime requirement for the production or the growth of agriculture. Now we will come to second 5-year plan that was started in 1956-61, 5-year time period for every plan, but we will discuss laterly some plan that could not complete, so their time is also marginalized. So second 5-year plan that was specifically focused on heavy industries, because we were having a colonial rule after before independence, and British people, they did not pay any attention for strengthening the industrial base of our country. So that's why the focus was on how the industrial base in India that can be increased, and the total amount allocation that was rupees 4600 crores, and specifically the projects that were installed started at that period of time, that is the hydroelectric power projects and 5 steel mills at Bhilai, Rourkela and Durgapur that were established at that period of time, and more railway lines were added in northeast, and target growth rate was 4.5%, but we achieved the growth rate that is approximately, that is 4.3%. Now we will come to third 5-year plan. Time period was 1961-66, and specifically this plan was focusing on agricultural sector, because if you see in the background of this 5-year plan, because we were having the shortage of food grains at that period of time, and specifically the emphasis was on how the agriculture sector that can be boosted, and because the population was also increasing rapidly at that period of time, and specifically how we can be able to fulfill the requirements of people of our country in food grains. So specifically that was stressed on agriculture and improvement in the production of wheat. But Sino-India War of 1962 exposed weaknesses in the economy and shifted the focus towards the defense industry. Primary schools were started in rural areas, specifically for the development of human resources. Many cement and fertilizer plants were also established, and Punjab became producing an abundance of wheat, because that time we had the seed of green revolution was sown in our country. In addition to that, and specifically the purpose of the green revolution was how we can be able to achieve the targets of the wheat and rice, because these are the two commodities or the two agriculture produced goods. So, there is more consumption of these articles. Now, we come to after the third 5-year plan, because we could not achieve the targets of the growth rate which we wanted to achieve, and the after third 5-year plan there was a sudden fall in the, which we name as a plan holiday also. We started the 1 year 3 plans, that is from 1966 to 69, and specifically what was the focus on that, because the plan that could not achieve their target in the third 5-year plan is to achieve and to enhance the economy. So, such plan holiday that was started in our country, and the reason for that, in 1965-66 India fought a war with Pakistan, Indo-Pak war, and due to this war there was a severe drought in 1965. In that sense there was a great instabilization, and the nation was facing lots of difficulty in this period. This led to inflation, and priority was shifted to price stabilization, because scarcity of the food grains, and because of that the demand and supply that was having the problem, and we were not getting the specified supply of the food grains in our country, and because of that the prices were increasing rapidly. And the construction of dam that was we had already started, that was also continued during the this plan holiday also. Now, we come to fourth 5-year plan. Time period was 1969 to 74, and that was led by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi at that period of time. And during this fourth 5-year plan, 14 banks that were nationalized, Rashtrikaran ho gaya tha, that were under the control of government, and the green revolution that was also started in our country during this period. Already have been started before this plan, but we have started to get the fruit of green revolution during this period, to make the agriculture as an advanced agriculture. So, the first 2 years of this plan saw record production because of green revolution, and the last 3 years did not measure up due to the poor monsoons. Then influx of the Bangladeshi refugees before and after the 1971 Indo-Pak war, that was an important issue, because infiltration of refugees that was also there, and that was also the creating the problem to the nation during this period of time also. Now, we come to fifth 5-year plan that was started in 1974, ended to 1979, and this 5-year plan that was launched by D.D. Dhar. Two main objectives that were in that: Garibi Hatao and self-reliance. And self-reliance, Atmanirbhar. So, we should have to be dependent on ourselves, on our country, and no need to import any goods from outside world. So, that was the basic motto of this 5-year plan. And the key instruments that were there: promotion of the high rate of growth and better distribution of income. And third was significant growth in domestic rate of savings, and the rolling plan 1978 to 80. So, if you see during this fifth 5-year plan, so specifically that was focus on that, because how the rate of in poverty, how it can be reduced, and how the economy or the country that can be self-reliant. So, that was the basic motto of this fifth 5-year plan. Now, we come to the sixth 5-year plan that must start in 1979, but that could not start because of the Janata government fell down. That was the basic reason in addition to that, and the time period was 1980 to 85, and there was a main focus was to increase the national income, modernization of technology, and because the modernization national income, market value of the goods and services produced in a country usually a year, because the national income of any country it will increase. So, it seems that the human development that is also increasing, level of living of the people that is also increasing, and the people they are in a position to fulfill their requirements of life. it seems if the national income is increasing. So, the specific motto of this 6-5 plan, modernization of technology, because we have started to focus on industrialization, and if we want to enhance the industrialization capacity of our country, so technology is the biggest boon to that in industries. So, how the cost of production that can be minimized by using the good and the advanced technology. So, that was focus was on the how the technology that can be modernized. So, we can use the new methods of production in the industrial sector. That was also the one of the motto of this 6-5 plan. Ensuring continuous decrease in poverty and unemployment. We were facing the problem of the poverty as well as the unemployment, and because of that specifically the focus was on that how the people they can come out from poverty, how the people they can get the employment opportunities, how the more and more employment opportunities can be generated, so the people they can get employment. Population control, that was because after the independence, if the people they get work in their hand, so sometimes we do feel that such as the perception in the mind of the people कि दो हाथ हैं तो उनको काम भी मिल जाएगा, and we are not thinking and bothering about the control of the population. So, the population was also a greatest problem to us that time. So, the government has also started to think on that and sensitize the people. The population growth that must be controlled, because if more and more population will be increasing, so it will use more and more resources, and that can also create the lots of the imbalances, environmental or the other imbalances that can taken place in the country. Now, we come to 7th 5-year plan, that was in 1985 to 90, and specifically the focus of the 7th 5-year plan, that was to rapid growth in food grain productions, because the population was continuously increasing, and there was the duty of every nation to fulfill the food requirements of the people of their country, and to increase the employment opportunity. So, how the people they can be come out from the poverty and the employment and the unemployment, and productivity within the framework of tenets of planning. So, how the productivity can be enhanced, how the employment can be generated, and how the people they can be how the poverty that can be eradicated, and the people they can come out from poverty. So, that was specifically focus of the 7th 5-year plan, and this plan was a very successful plan, and the economy recorded a 6% growth rate against the target of 5%. So, if you compare with all other plans, so 7th 5-year plan, that was one of the successful plan of our country. Now, we come to 8th 5-year plan, that was started in 1992 and ended in 1997, and specifically that was also because if you see the last 5-year plan, the 7th 5-year plan, so that could not start, and there was a postponement or the delayed of the 2 years. And specifically the basic motto or basic objective of this 8th 5-year plan, that was how the policy measures that can be, so that can the annual growth rate that can be up to the range of the 5.6%. So, that was one of the objective of this 8th 5-year plan, and some of the main economic outcomes were rapid economic growth and high growth of agriculture and the allied sectors. Your poultry hai, your dairy hai, your horticulture hai, floriculture hai, beekeeping hai. So, some allied sectors of the economy, so they must also be strengthened, so the people they can get more and more employment opportunities, and manufacturing sector, growth in exports and imports, improvement in trade, and then current economic deficit, because the account deficit is also a biggest problem to us, because to fulfill that account deficit, so we start to take the loan from other countries. So, when the country will be under debt, so we will have to pay the more money in the form of the interest. So, that was also one of the basic motto of this 8-fire plan ki how the current account deficit that can be minimized. Then we come to 9th fire plan from 1997 to 2001, and the basic purpose of this 5-year plan was to develop in the context of the 4 important dimensions: quality of life, that can be measured in with the help of education, health facilities, other infrastructural base. If educational level is proper or the higher, or the health facilities are proper, life expectancy of the people that will be increased. We will get the more human labor. That human labor can be used for the for enhancement of the productivity in the agriculture as well as in the industrial sector, and generation of the productive employment. Regional balances. Regional balance means one state to another state there is no difference, equally development can be taken place, industries that can be established in each and every state. So, regional imbalances that can be minimized, so that we can achieve the regional balance. And then self reliance. So, we should not dependent on any other country. We can produce food grains as well as other goods which are for the consumption of the people, for the requirement of the people. So, we can achieve all these, or we can get from our country. So, the basic motto was for the capital intensive technology, also for the modernization of technology. So, we should have to develop base in such a way, so there is no need to dependent on other country, maybe for the capital intensive goods or maybe for the consumption goods. And other aims beside this were to ensure the food and the nutritional security. And nutritional means because every individual, if you see the poverty, the calorie intake 2100 in the rural area, 2400 in the rural area, and the 2100 in the urban area. So, nutrients, every human that is required the nutrients value. So, the food which we are getting, so they must have the sufficient nutrient value, so that the growth of that person that can take place in a proper way, or a child that can take place in a proper way. To check growing population increase, that was the biggest worry to nation. Population was increasing continuously, and to make the price stabilization, because when the population will be increasing, certain the demand, the goods which are producing, that will be there, and when supply that will be there, but when the population will be increasing, so we should have to make match between the demand and the supply. So, if the population will be increasing, they will make the requirements of their to fulfill the needs of their life, so that will be increased. And when the demand will be increased, certainly the price issue that will be also there, because we are not in a position to produce so much goods at that period, at a you can say that small instance or that period immediately. Because if you see the agriculture sector, the agriculture gives the crops maybe 3 months, 4 months time period is there. So, that was to make the stabilization of prices, specifically the food prices. That was the one of the emphasis was during this plan. Now, we come to 10th 5-year plan, and specifically the 10th 5-year plan. So, to objective that were to attain 8% GDP growth per year, we achieved the 7.7%, reduction poverty ratio by 5% by 2017, providing gainful and the higher quality employment, at least to the addition to the labor force, and reduction in gender gaps in literacy and wage rates by at least 50% by 2007. So, these were the main objectives of 10th 5-year plan. And the gender gaps, if we gender means, gender is a word which is used for both the sexes, for the men and women. So, what is the difference between the literacy level, wage rates between men and women? So, the focus was that how this gaps that can be minimized. That was focus was done on this. And because if you see every plan, you will find, we will find that specifically motto of every plan, we should have to reduce the poverty and to generate the more employment opportunities to the people. Now we come to 11th 5-year plan that was started in 2007, ended in 2011, and the specifically focus on these areas: poverty reduction, emphasis on social sectors. Social sector means about you can say about the educational institutions, about the health institutions, about such an atmospheric conditions in a village as well as in the cities, so that there is no gaps between the caste, class, creed. So, to enhance the social sector, so that all the sections of the society they can develop and grow equally. So, that was focus during this plan. And reduction in gender inequality, gender inequalities among the men and women or between men and women, regarding their literacy, regarding their ways, regarding their health facilities, regarding their assets, regarding their ownership of land holdings. However, we have every rules and regulations, all citizens are equal, but still lots of the gender gap that is prevailing in our country. So, specifically was that all women they should be allowed to work in each and every sector of the economy. So, that was also one of the focus how the gender inequality that can be minimized. Environmental sustainability, because any developing country like India, if we are focusing on the industrialization or even in the agriculture sector of the green revolution, so lots of the environmental imbalance that has been created after the green revolution, industrial waste, pollute, the human wastes. So, specifically focus on that how the environment that can be sustained and how we can be able to protect the environment in our country. And increase growth rate in agriculture, industry and services. All the three sectors of the economy, how the growth rate that can be increased in agricultural, industrial as well as in the service sector of the economy. And clean drinking water, because if you see in the in addition to that, if you see in the Millennium Development Goals, every country it's their responsibility, they should have to provide the safe good drinking water to their citizens. So, that was also one of the priority how the clean drinking water should be provided to the people of the India. Now, we can have a slightly look on our plans that was first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, 8th, 9th, 10th, and what were the targets and what were the actual we achieved in that. Already we have explained in that. So, you can have a look on that. Almost if you see that some plans they could not specifically, if you see the third 5-year plan that could not achieve targets. So, the rolling plan was also there. Plan holiday 1966 to 69, 3 1-year plan that was started in that. So, this is the outlook of that. These were the targets and how we achieved actually the growth rate during this period of the time. Now, we come to 12th 5-year plan 2012 to 2017, and specifically that was every plan how the economic growth that can be enhanced and how it can be increased. So, the proposed target range of GDP growth rate was 9 to 9.5%, and the plan is expected to be one of the that encourages the development of India's agriculture, education, health, social welfare through government spending. So, government spending means in the social welfare schemes which can be able to enhance the capacity of people in education, health, other areas, so that more and more spending must be done in that. So, the people they can get the good education in schools, they can get the good health facilities in the hospitals, they can treat themselves in the need of time. So, such type of the provision was done. More and more investment must be done by the government, so that the social institutions that can be that can be flourished, that can be enhanced, मतलब उनकी जो कैपेसिटी है उसको बढ़ाया जाए और उनकी कैपेबिलिटीज़ को भी बढ़ाया जाए. So that was the approach of the government at that period of the time, and also expected to create employment through developing India's manufacturing sector, because manufacturing sector, you can say the industrial sector, so that provide the direct employment to the people. So that was also the focus, to provide more and more employment opportunities to the people by strengthening the manufacture sector of the country. Thank you very much for listening patiently. यदि आपको कोई डाउट है तो email ID is given in this my channel. You can email me for any query and any question, or any, even on the channel you can comment and suggest. So, and subscribe and like this channel. Thank you very much.